So you're asked to write a set of numbers in set builder notation. And this is what you're aiming for. That's what it's going to look like with three parts. First part saying x such that, and we say what the numbers include, the first part here, the second part there, and then we always end with what is the element of. So for this part here, to be able to state that, you need to know your inequality symbols. So the first one here is greater than or greater than and equal to. So if I wanted to say x is greater than 4, I'd write x is greater than 4 because the mouth always opens to the bigger number. If I'm working with less than or less than and equal to, x is less than 3, x is less than 3, meaning x is bigger than 3 is bigger than x. And for the last part, x is the element of, you've got to know your sets of numbers. Natural numbers start from 1, whole numbers including 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on, your integers or positive and negative whole numbers, your rational numbers, numbers that can be written as a fraction, for example 2 over 3, or if we take negative 1 and we write it as a fraction, negative 1 over 1, and then the last one, or your irrational numbers, are non-terminating, non-recurring decimals. We'll work through a few examples and see if that helps you. First one I'm given is a set of numbers that goes 2, 3, 4, and this is going to go on and on and on and end at infinity. Well, to write in set builder notation, we start with our brackets, saying x such that, and we'll put our two dots. We'll come to this middle part in a moment. Let's just do the end part because that's also easy. We say x is the element of, and what set of numbers? Well, these are all positive numbers bigger than 1, so we can say is the element of natural numbers. Right, so I've got two parts done. I just need this middle part in. So this is the number. On the side we're going to write, it goes 2, and it's going to go on and on and on. And when we only have one number, we can start by saying x is, in this case, getting bigger, so x is bigger than or equal to 2. And I've got my middle part done. Pretty easy. Let's look at another one. So here we're going all negative numbers, and they're going down. They're getting smaller. They're going to end at negative infinity. So we do our three parts again. X such that, and I'm going to again leave the middle part, come back to it in a moment. X is the element of, these are all positive and negative whole numbers, so it's integers. X is the element of integers. Now let's get the middle part going. In this case, on the side, we can write, we're going from negative 1 down. In other words, x is smaller than or equal to negative 1. That's easy enough. X is smaller than or equal to negative 1. Another example here. In this case, we've got the numbers going from negative 2, and they end at 3. So I'm working with positive and negative whole numbers. So in our set builder notation, we have x such that, again, let's leave the middle part, we'll come back to it in a moment. And this is the element of, remember, positive and negative whole numbers, they're going to be integers again. So when we're working out, on the side of the paper, you can say these numbers go from negative 2 to 3. So in this case, we're going to have negative 2, x in the middle, and 3 at the end, always going from the smaller number to the bigger number. And when we have a situation like this, your mouth is always going to open to the right, either greater than or greater than and equal to. So we can go and put in a greater than sign, but because the numbers in the set, negative 2 is included and 3 is included, it's greater than or equal to negative 2, and less than or equal to 3. Another one. Here we're given it as a story problem, or written out in words. We're going to be working with the real numbers, so that helps us. That's a good clue. Greater than, there's another great clue. Greater than 6, less than or equal to 15. So when we're working with the real numbers, we start our set builder. Ooh, that was terrible. You may not do that. We start with x such that, and we can end it, go to the end part and already fill that in. X is the element of real numbers. Now all we need to do is fill in our middle part, this part here. So look at the numbers we're given. We're given 6, they're the numbers greater than 6, less than 15. So again, I'm going to have two numbers. Here's 6, x in the middle, 15 on the end. Now all I need to do is my signs. Well, it says they're greater than 6. So greater than looks like that. And fill it in. It's not equal to, it's greater than. And less than or equal to 15. Less than or equal to 15. So x is greater than 6, less than or equal to 15, and it's the element of real numbers. There I've written it in set builder notation. Let's do one last one. Again, written as words, the rational numbers between -4 and 9. So let's go. X such that, we'll come back to this in a moment, and x is the element of, they tell me here that it's the rational numbers. So we write it, x is the element of rational numbers. Now again, I've got to work out the middle part. We're working with two numbers. They go from -4 to 9. So here we go, -4, x, and 9. Now I just need to decide on my inequality symbols. In this case, they lie between, and you must learn when it lies between two numbers. If it lies between -4 and 9, it's -3, -2, -1, all those numbers up to 8. So in other words, x is greater than -4 and less than 9. But it doesn't include -4 and it doesn't include 9 because it lies between. It's all these numbers between it. So just keep in mind, when we're working with an example like this, where -1 going down, going smaller, we only have one number. When we draw it on the side, we're only working with one number, -1 getting smaller. So that's why it's written like this. X is less than or equal to -1. In this case, it was 2 going upwards, so we write x is greater than or equal to 2. We don't have a number, x in the middle, and a number. That happens when we're working with sets like this, where it has a starting point. We said it starts at -2 and it goes to 3. Then we have -2, x in the middle, and 3, with our mouth always opening to the right. And practice a few. Come and ask if you need help.